morning. My name is Cecilia McGough, and I'm accompanied here with my colleague, Cece Joyce. In today's presentation, we're going to be talking about some of our lived experience living with psychosis, and also some advice for students living with psychosis. Cecilia will be starting off with sharing some of her story with us.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Cecilia Joyce. Friends call me Cece. I go by she, her pronouns, and I'm on the executive board as vice president of programming, and I'm treasurer, and I'm also hold a position as operations director on staff for students with psychosis. I'd like to share a little bit about me. I was born in Venezuela. I'm adopted. I was raised in a very nice community in New York. I was teased a lot growing up, especially when it came to my race. And when I was in high school, I realized I was having hallucinations about the people who were teasing me. I kept hearing it behind my back. I kept hearing it in my room. And that's when I realized something was wrong. I was sent to a new school because I wasn't doing well in school anymore. And so I was sent to a boarding school for people. It was for the purpose of therapy. And even in a therapeutic setting, I somehow felt isolated from my peers. I felt I didn't have anyone that could relate to me. In my new school, I was diagnosed as schizoaffective, and I had to come to terms with my new diagnosis. At 18 years old, I moved out of my parents' house. I went to college, and I had a really traumatic experience in college that forced me to address the issues that I was dealing with. During that same time period, I started renting rooms in New York. I got myself a dog. I felt like I was finally starting to get life together, but I still lacked that sense of community. It wasn't until I found students with psychosis that I really felt connected to people. I was even homeless for a little bit with my dog in New York City. It was very terrible feeling so alone. I had a hard time coping with my delusions while I was homeless. I was more symptomatic than usual because I was very stressed out, and stress makes you a lot more symptomatic. And SWP coming along gave me a sense of community. It helped me with my symptoms, and it helped me normalize what I was going through. Prior to students with psychosis, I felt alone. I felt like I was holding on to a dark secret. I've gained several irreplaceable friendships, and I finally feel accepted and loved within my community. So if there's one takeaway from my story, it would be that you're not alone. There are other people out there living with psychosis.
Thank you so much, Cecilia, for sharing your story with us today. I'm also going to be sharing some of my lived experience with psychosis as well. My name is Cecilia McGough, and I was an astronomy and astrophysics major at Penn State University. In high school, I was lucky enough to co-discover a pulsar. A pulsar is a super dense neutron star that emits dipole electromagnetic radiation. So basically think of a star much, much larger than our sun, exploding away its outer layers and leaving behind a dense core. That core can be our pulsar. This discovery opened some doors for me, such as helping represent the United States in the International Space Olympics, and also being a Virginia Aerospace Science and Technology Scholar through NASA. I know what you all must be thinking, what a nerd. What I'm a proud nerd to be that. But during that time, I had a secret that I was too scared and too embarrassed to tell anyone. And that secret was, well, I have schizophrenia. I wasn't open about my schizophrenia or hadn't received help until later in my college years. My life changed drastically my second semester of freshman year because I tried to take my own life. Why, you might ask? Because my life had become a waking nightmare. The following slides have been edited through Microsoft Artistic Effects because some of the slides can be a bit triggering for me. So for a trigger warning, hallucination, delusion description. The hallucination that I struggled with the most would be a clown, very similar to the older adaptation of It. Even though I've been hallucinating for as long as I can remember, this hallucination became much more prominent my senior year of high school and snowballed into college. This hallucination in particular was very difficult for me. I would see it 24/7, taunting, giggling, and it would be both a visual hallucination, a tactile hallucination, and also an auditory hallucination. Another hallucination that I've experienced has also been spiders, small spiders and also large spiders. One spider in particular comes to mind, rather large, leathery skin. No voice would ever come out of its mouth, but the creaking of its legs would sound like young children laughing. It would be highly disturbing. I would also see small spiders as well. And for me, those were actually more difficult for me to discern whether or not they were real, because we see small spiders in every day in your life. I know about you all, but I'm not a huge fan of spiders. So it would be pretty difficult for me sometimes to tell if they're real or not. Something that would help me with that reality checking would be to take a picture on my phone. And for me personally, I'm someone who doesn't hallucinate on my screen. So by seeing that there was no picture of a spider on the phone would then confirm to me that it was a hallucination. Another hallucination that I would experience, and this is when my hallucinations really got to a point of being unbearable, I started hallucinating a girl. Unlike the clown who did the giggling and taunting and such, this girl knew exactly what to say and when to say to chip away at my insecurities. And she would also carry a knife around with her. And she would sometimes stab me, sometimes in the face. And this would make studying, going to lectures, difficult to near impossible. Also, another hallucination that I've experienced is more based off of a trauma. When I moved to New York City, I was unfortunately at a platform where someone was struck by the train. And after that experience, I struggle with a hallucination of a younger boy. You might realize that with my hallucination descriptions, I don't give any of my hallucinations names. I refer to them as spiders, the girl, the boy, the clown. And for me, this helps me divide what is real and what is not. If I start referring them to by my hallucinations by name, then they seem more real to me. I used to not be so open about my hallucinations because I would be scared of what people would think. But in reality, we're all the same in the way that we all see, hear, and feel things that aren't there when we're dreaming. I'm just someone who cannot turn off my nightmares when I'm awake. That is no reason to be scared of me. It took me 8 months. 8 months after my suicide attempt to finally get the help that I needed. And I remember talking on my phone with my mother. I would tell my mom, "Mom, I'm sick. I'm seeing, hearing, and feeling things that aren't there. I need to go to the doctor." Her response, no. You can't tell anyone about this. Think of your sisters. Think of your sisters' futures. People are going to think that you are crazy. People are going to think that you're dangerous, and you won't be able to get a job. My response to that now is don't let anyone, including yourself, get in the way of getting the proper medical treatment. I am confident that I would not be here today if I didn't seek that proper help. With that said, I wasn't open about my schizophrenia until my second hospitalization because the police were involved. Let me set up the scene a bit. The night before, I was feeling symptomatic, so I ended up admitting myself into the emergency room. I stayed there overnight, and the doctor said it was okay for me to go back to my college dorm. So I returned back to my college dorm, and I was not only greeted by my roommates, but also the RA and a can't help person. We all talked and we decided that I'll go back to the hospital for a hospital stay. And with this, I want to provide that I have no background in violence. Actually, I'm someone who in high school lived in a homeless abuse shelter for a part of time. So what happened next was really inexcusable. They brought police officers into my dorm room. They were in full uniform. They patted me down, and I had to convince them not to put handcuffs on me. They then escorted me into a marked police car where friends were passing by and seeing me put into that police car because it was parked right in front of a dining commons. By the time that I got back, the cat was out of the bag. People knew something was up, so I wanted to set the story straight. This is when I opened up about having schizophrenia. And I want to be very clear. I'm at no way regret being open about my schizophrenia. But what infuriates me is that I did not get the choice of when, how, and if I wanted to be open about my schizophrenia. After this event, this was the catalyst for the decision of founding the nonprofit Students with Psychosis. And through this nonprofit, I want everyone to know that it's okay to have schizophrenia. It's okay to have psychosis. Students with Psychosis is a nonprofit that empowers college students and advocates worldwide through community building and collaboration. My name is Cecilia McGough. I have schizophrenia, and I am not a monster. Thank you.